Hey everyone, welcome. We are so excited that you are here for today's conversation. I'm Katie Mast, Director of Community here at Rock Paper Coin, and your host for today's webinar. If we haven't met before, we are a payment platform built for small business owners just like you that's designed to make invoicing, contracts, and payments easy and affordable, which, let's be honest, is so important in today's economy. One, right? Yep. One big housekeeping item that we have before we get started today. We want to see your comments and your questions when doing this live. So please head over to that Zoom chat, change your settings to chat with everyone, not just panelists and hosts, and say hello, letting us know who you are, where you are, and drop your Instagram in the comments. We are going to put our links in the chat as well. So please take a second and make sure you are following us so that we can get to know you. And with that, let's get started because today's topic is about something so many of us carry silently. Even as we hit big milestones, book dream clients, and successfully grow our businesses, it's really amazing how that internal doubt shows up in your income, in your rates, in your pricing, and your ability to say, I deserve to make good money, and I'm really good at what I do, and believe it. And
Ooh,
so many, right? Woo,
that's the
I'm
correction
already,
plan. Let's go. Let's go. I love it. Love it.
right? I mean, so many of you have really found yourself second guessing your pricing and offering discounts without even being asked, feeling awkward when sending invoices, and completely downplaying your success instead of shouting and sharing it from the rooftops. And so we all need to talk about this. And our incredible guest is not just going to help you get paid faster. Nope, not today. She is going to help you feel worthy of what you are earning. You are going to leave with quotes to stick on your mirror, real talk to write in your journal, and actual steps to shift your business and your mindset because Terrica is here and she is so ready to chat. My dear friend, welcome. I
Oh my
think we're going to
God.
have so much fun with this topic because you and I just love to pour into people and celebrate their wins. So I'm just so thankful that you're here today.
No, I'm so grateful that, and you know what's so crazy is that how this wasn't the first option for us to chat when we were talking about getting together for this is crazy because this is so needed right now. But we ended up where we were supposed to end up. But I'm so glad I can teach y'all a million things about how to price, how to sell, how to make that proposal like just fly off the screen and directly into your bank account. But if you don't feel like you're worth the price that's on it, then we have more work to do. So I am so excited to see everybody. I see, oh my gosh, I see Victoria's here. I feel like, what was that romper room when they're like, I see so and so and so. I see Victoria and Kiana and Morgan and mi hermana. Hi, how are you? It's so good to see y'all. I'm excited. I'm ready. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. Oh, wait a minute. But
Well,
before we begin, I just need to let everybody know if for some reason you are not accustomed to me, we have not met before, you haven't followed my Instagram, you haven't seen me speak, do know that I am 100% team you. I'm going to drag you a little bit in this conversation only because I want you to realize how much you are worth and how amazing you are. But I am always going to be your biggest cheerleader and sometimes your drill sergeant too. So I'm so excited to have this conversation.
I am thrilled that you actually brought up about us chatting about this topic because let's be honest, I basically threw myself down and immediately said yes and gave you no other options for anything else because I genuinely believed in this conversation so much. And I mean, just the registrations alone tell you everything you need to know about a topic that you're going to be talking about in a webinar. And
Which
everyone here, everyone who registered, they are so ready for this. And so I actually want to kick us off with this first question, which is why is this conversation so important for you to have today?
Oh, listen, this conversation is hitting at the perfect time because the market is not what it yet was even a year ago. We've got couples that are nervous, savings are down, and everyone is second guessing these big purchases. And so when they
Yes.
hesitate, a lot of us are panicking. And the first thing we do is we start doubting ourselves. We start cutting prices just so we can stay booked. And then that's the trap because that's when imposter syndrome shows up. Like, well, maybe I'm charging too much, or maybe I'm not good enough for this price point, or they'll never book it. But baby, that's not the truth. That's just fear dressed up as logic. So we've got to stop building businesses that only work when things are going right. That's the
Mm,
first thing. So that no matter what is thrown at us, we know that we're going to succeed. And if you want to make it through seasons like this, you need more than talent. You need a
yeah.
mindset that is anchored, pricing that is sustainable, and systems that are absolutely going to protect your pockets even when the leads slow down. Because this isn't just about money, it's about mobility.
Yeah, and I think it's so important to start with where imposter syndrome even comes from because it doesn't just pop out of nowhere.
Right.
It's planted early. And here's the truth. We don't question our skills, we question
Mm.
our worth.
Yep.
And that is imposter syndrome in a nutshell. And then,
Mm.
as you said, we start to undercharge just to get the booking, or you start throwing in free extras without even being asked because you're terrified that they're going to go with somebody else. And you're running on fear and you're running on doubt and the dreaded what ifs. And I know, obviously, that sounds all so familiar. And I wanted to share something because someone wrote this in the comments during registration, and it was so spot on that I asked them if they could share, and it was totally fine. But this is what they said. They said, I'm so thankful for this conversation. I feel like I'm just going through the motions and hoping no one finds out. I'm making
Oh,
money. I have friends and referrals, but this can't be normal. After
mhm.
so many years in business, I still feel like such a fraud.
Oh, whoever you are, I'm hugging you like virtually. That's real. That hits right here.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
it
we'll
does.
about that because I go through that all of the time and people are shocked. People are shocked to know that I still get nervous when I get up to speak. That, with even when I'm so confident in how I sell and what I sell, I still get this tinge of like, wait a minute, is this for real?
Hmm.
Like, am I really doing this? Especially when you get pushback, right? It's bad enough when you're already doubting yourself, but then when you get a little bit of pushback, you're like, oh, clearly my doubts were right. You know what I mean? This imposter
That's right.
syndrome was right. It's a lie. It's a lie. We're not giving it a megaphone for sure.
Yeah. Well, and you help so many people believe in themselves. You are so good at that. I mean, if anybody saw our personal text thread with each other, like you are my ultimate hype woman for all the things. But when was, and this is a personal question, but when was the last time that you didn't believe in you? And how did you handle that?
Oof. I'm pretty sure it was sometime recent. I just can't like really
Yeah.
pinpoint the day, but I absolutely feel it. And you know what? You know how Beyonce has like it's Beyonce and it's Sasha Fierce when she goes on stage. Well, I don't have a Sasha Fierce, but I have like a Terrica version of that. And that's when I'm like, you know what? You fall back, let her take it.
Mm,
Because at the end of the day, all that anybody can ever do is tell me no. And never, no, never hurt anybody, right? For me, no just means next. So there have been times where I've gotten pushback on a proposal. I've gotten pushback on my boundaries, and I let
mhm.
her show up. I let her because me, the other me, the one that y'all or would be surprised knows, like such a not a people pleaser, but I'm a people lover. So I don't like to see people unhappy. I don't like to feel like people are unaccommodated or they're not heard. But that gets me into trouble sometimes, right? So I got to let the other her show up and stick up for me and advocate for me and Olivia Pope for me. So whether it is my pricing or my boundaries, I'm like, okay, what would she do? What would she say? And then I go that route.
Olivia Pope is definitely my go-to person. I'm like, what would Olivia Pope do right now? I mean, just think about Olivia Pope. Like, what would Olivia Pope do right
What would
now?
she do?
And what would she do?
But you know what? What's so crazy is that I just went through something with a friend within the industry, maybe about 2.5 weeks ago. And the way that everything happens in life is just so serendipitous. But she had a great opportunity, she had a great launch, and then we found out that something detrimental to her business could happen. And I could just tell that she was so frustrated and flustered. And here she is at this high point, and she should be celebrating. She should be celebrated. And instead, she
Mm.
has to deal with this worry. So I was like, I want to ask you a question. Can I jump in on this? Can I just make some calls and some contacts? Can I handle it on the back end? You have to be the front face of everything that's going on in your business. I don't want to overstep my bounds, but can I do it? She was like, absolutely. Within 48 hours, I had everything handled and great. Saying that, and I'm not saying that to say, oh my God, Terrica's amazing. She is, but that's not the point of this story. The point is that we need to be who we are to other people, to ourselves first. Because if we
Yeah.
are not, then that's where the real fraud comes in, right? You're not a fraud because you don't think you're as good and people are paying you this amount or you're getting all of this hype. We become frauds when we are trying to be everything to everybody else, but we don't even give ourselves that same consideration or love or boundaries.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad we're having this conversation. And I wish we were actually having this conversation in person with a room full of people so that, like you said, we
Yeah.
could just literally go hug everybody because I can only imagine the vibes and the feels right now that people are just, just hearing that and listening to that. So thank you. And I honestly think that that's one of the hardest parts of our roles is knowing other people feel this way and
Mhm.
wanting to help them get to the next phase, and we're just over here sitting here knowing that they can make it if they just keep going, or you
Mm.
ask for help, or you let your guard down and you allow yourself to be vulnerable. And we're like, just keep going, we keep going. And it's the hardest thing to sit on this side and watch people struggle and watch people be so close to something and then almost like self-sabotage, right? And real
And
talk,
why is that? But
right. And why
go
is
ahead. I'm
that?
sorry.
And because none of us started a business to not get paid. But I can't tell you how many weekly conversations I had with all kinds of pros. There's not one kind of pro that's guilty of this. It's everybody that are struggling with their worth. Like a conversation I just recently had with someone who had not changed their prices since 2021, even though I know, even though they had spent so much money, right? Upgrading gear and their customer experience, and they're doing all the right things. And you and I, we both have these conversations day in and day out, explaining that clients are booking you because your prices are so low. And those
Not
same
because good.
clients are getting plenty of quotes from other pros that are charging their worth that offer the same exact services. And they
So
would have paid
they
it, right? But they
they
went
found
with
you.
you
Mhm.
because they're going to save money. And
Mhm.
that is not the reason why you want someone to book you. You want someone to book you because they're genuinely excited about what you bring to the table. So, why do you think this is such a hard area for so many people?
Because everybody is comparing themselves to the front-facing version that everyone else puts out there, you know? And so that's why I was saying, why do you think that this is? And it's because when we go to these networking groups, nobody's honest, nobody's really being honest. Like, you know what? This is a crappy year, it's a crappy week. We might be saying it a little bit more now because we feel more comfortable that everybody is going through it. But before you would go in and everybody's like, yeah, I'm booked for 50 weddings this month. And it's like, why? Like that doesn't impress me. Girl, I want to be home with my feet up. I want to be taking notes from Joe
Yes.
Goldberg, the ultimate Scorpio. Like I have zero desire to be at everybody's wedding at all. Do I want to get paid from some of them? Yes, but I don't want to be there. So I think that the
Hmm.
reason so many of us go through this is because we see other people that we're comparing ourselves to. And you hear the saying that comparison is the thief of joy. But they're like, well, how am I supposed to get past it? Shouldn't I pay attention to my market? Shouldn't I pay attention to my competition? Yes, you should, but you take it all with a grain of salt because otherwise you are always chasing somebody else's dream. You're always on somebody else's staircase to the top and it's not yours. So to the
Yeah.
person who said in that comment, is this normal? Yes, baby, it is absolutely normal. I won't say it gets better. I just say you get stronger at it. You
Hmm.
begin to learn how to tune out certain things and how to turn up certain things as well. And if we're doing this correctly, if we're balanced, if we're well rooted in who we are and what we're putting into ourselves and our businesses, we know to turn up the hype music. We know to turn down the doubts.
Yeah, yeah. I'm curious. We're gonna keep talking. I want to like go back to that, but I have a quick question for you because I'm genuinely curious about this, and I know it stems from so much for other people. What is
Yeah.
a money message that you were raised with that
Ooh.
you have had to, or like even still are actively trying to unlearn? Because I do think that it goes hand in hand, right?
Oh,
With it.
absolutely. Absolutely. Your relationship with money, your mindset with money is absolutely given to you at first, and you have to either reinforce that or break out of it. So
Yeah.
honestly, for me, it was like I grew up with the idea that money was only for people who did everything the quote unquote right way. And the harder that you struggle, the more success that you would have. Follow the rules, don't rock the boat, play it safe, don't take risks. So it wasn't just about hard work, really. It was about restriction. Like, here's this narrow
Yeah.
little path. And if you step off of it, you don't deserve success. If you don't do it this way, you don't deserve success. And that path usually meant self sacrifice, burnout, doing things that didn't really feel like it was true to who I was. So for a long time, I believe that I had to earn money a respectable way. That sounds so bad, but you know what I mean? Like earn it the way that people
Yeah.
felt like I should. And by
Hmm.
respectful, I just mean like exhausting and limiting and built for someone else's version of success. You know what? I'll pitch this to the chat right now. How incensed would some of you get when you first started your business and somebody would say, "So how's your little business going? How's your little thing going?" You know what I mean? Don't add little in front of nothing I'm a part of. You know what? Big
Hmm.
everything, all of it. But see, white hot, hot as fish grease. If
The
somebody said, "How's
word
your little business
that
doing?"
gets under my skin is hobby. When someone
Mm,
still refers to it as a hobby, and you're like, I have been doing this for 10 years. We are outside of hobby
we're past that
territory.
point. We're past that point. And I'm still unlearning the idea that, you know what, struggle is the price of admission for stability or for success. Because
Yeah.
honestly, Katie, ease, creativity, freedom, those are also currencies too. And I fully intend on being rich in those as well.
Ooh, that is a subject we're getting down to, and I cannot. That's gonna be we're gonna fire those off. That's for sure. Um, So you and I, so we have talked about this topic personally a
Hmm.
lot because I personally suffer from imposter syndrome pretty badly. And whenever I tell anyone that, they are pretty genuinely shocked to hear it, right? Because I seem so confident and I'm doing webinars with you and we're you put yourself into the spotlight, so to
Yeah,
speak, right? Because as a business owner, like hello, like you got to be out there, you got to be talking about it. And I
right.
know from the registration comments, a lot of people here today would get the same response. Oh, that surprises me. Oh, I never would have thought, right? And my version of imposter syndrome has certainly shifted and changed through time, thank goodness. But I was absolutely that planner in earlier years who edited my proposals at least 5 times before hitting send because who was I to charge that much? And
Mhm.
what if they said no? Right. And like, ugh, that feeling, it's just the worst feeling. And you don't want to be that way. You don't mean to be that way. And it's a version of myself I know I'd love to say goodbye to. My life would be so much easier without imposter syndrome. So I'd love to know, can you describe a version of yourself that you've had to let go of to become who you are now?
Oh, yeah. Um, I really, again, I had to let go of me making everybody's feelings my responsibility,
Hmm.
especially in in our industry, because it's someone's special day. We only get it once, so it feels like, oh my gosh, I have to get everything right. And if they didn't book this, I have to make sure that I fill in the gaps to do here and do whatever. And I just remember, you know, we talk about our kids all the time, but yeah, I wrote out birth plans for all of my kids, and I can remember like making my OBGYN team cackle because I was like, "Hey guys, so in the event that I need a a C-section. Just go on there and get the cannula, liposuction me, tighten me up, do
Yeah.
whatever. And they're like, first of all, that type of doctor isn't even going to be in there. That's not happening. And even though it was said in jest and we all laughed about it, I'm thinking this is the same thing for me, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you did not pay me to do this. I am not doing this at all. So there was so much of me just being this person without boundaries or being such a giver. You know what I mean? That I love the
People
saying.
pleaser.
Yes, people are, I don't know if I'm a people pleaser because I genuinely hate people and they genuinely hate me. So I won't say I'm a people pleaser because baby, I don't give a damn if you're pleased. You know what? The sadder you are, the happier I am. I'm joking, guys. I'm totally joking, but I'm a giver. But
Yeah.
I love the
Yeah.
saying that people have said that, you know what, givers need to set limits because takers rarely have any. And that is
Mm,
so very true. So the person that I had to absolutely let go was the person that just always overextended herself. And
mhm.
there was never any payoff for it at all, at all.
I love that. And someone once told me, while we're sharing quotes here, someone once told me that feeling like a fraud is not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign you're
Correct.
passionate about what you're doing and that you're growing
I
and that
love that.
you're feeling uncomfortable, which is causing you to question everything.
I love
And
that.
right? Like it that just changes everything when you put it into that kind of a light. And we know, we both know, right? Fake it till you make it. It's business advice that can totally be helpful for some people, right?
Mhm.
But it can be very dangerous for people with imposter syndrome.
For
And
sure.
if you already have a hard time seeing your value and your worth, faking anything only confirms that belief because someone dealing with imposter syndrome, they're not lacking skill. They're lacking permission to believe in their own brilliance and their abilities. And telling them to shake it off and get out there and just fake it till that they believe it, it
Mhm.
reinforces this lie that what they have to offer today isn't good enough and that they need to continue to perform in order to achieve.
Mhm.
And I think that's, that is really like where the power sits. Did you, or do you even now feel like you didn't belong in a room or question whether you were actually qualified to be doing something?
Girl, yes. And you know what? I can remember doing pageants in college. And I would always say, fake it till you make it. And now, as I've grown, I don't even say that to anybody anymore. I say, do it scared. Just do, because I don't want you to fake anything. Just do it,
Right.
and do it scared. Because that way, you're
Mhm.
being true to yourself and you'll absolutely learn it. And you're facing a fear rather than, just acting out of oblivion. I just see this one comment in the chat too, Katie, where Jillian said, I am like that, always going above and beyond without it and the money for it. Right. That's
Yeah.
crazy, right? And we do that because we just want to make people happy. We want to be perceived as being good at what we do. I tell you, when people pay, they pay attention. So the more boundaries that I put up, the more access that I give, they are so much more respectful of my time and my skill and my art when I started putting dollar signs and commas next to everything that they wanted and not just.
Absolutely.
But to answer your question, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. There was a time where, I felt like I didn't belong, but it didn't start from when I became an entrepreneur. I was a big city kid, Black girl going to a private school in the suburbs. So I knew early what it was like to stand out. And not because I wanted to, but because I literally had no choice. You've got different backgrounds, different energies, different experiences. So you learn how to code switch, right? You know how to play the game, you know how to navigate, you know how to show up like you belong, even when everything around you tells you otherwise. So when I
Yeah.
stepped into the wedding industry, especially in luxury spaces, that feeling wasn't new. I came down here and I was younger than some of my clients. I didn't have as much experience, and I'm a Black woman in the South. I'm still to this day one of the only Black vendors in my area. I wouldn't even put my picture on my site in the very beginning. So I already knew what it felt like to be the only one in the room, like that outsider looking in. But what I had to
Yeah.
learn was just because that room wasn't built for me, Katie, or built with me in mind, does not mean that I don't belong in it. So the real flex was that I had to stop performing for permission, and I had to start showing up like I already had it, like I knew it. Because imposter syndrome, it's just not out there just whispering doubt. It echoes every single time you try to grow and you try to expand. And if you don't, like I tell people all the time, if you don't put your teeth on that neck, it's going to keep coming for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And something that I'm constantly having to talk myself out of is performance over authenticity.
Mhm.
And for
Mhm.
women and creatives especially, but really for all, I mean, this mindset, it leads to like a hyper overcompensating behavior, which, you know,
Yeah.
basically means that I feel like I'm always holding it together all the time. And from the
Mhm.
outside, I look good. But on the
Mhm.
inside, I am barely surviving. And it's a slippery slope
Mhm.
because it does, right? It starts this chain reaction of showing up as the version of who you think people want you to
Mm,
be. And
mm,
you lose touch with your real voice and your own ideas and your power. But let me tell you, okay, it takes power to start a business. It takes
mm.
brave ideas to build something from the ground up and book clients and make your own money. And these comments, I'm like, going to cry. You guys, like in the comment section, these are just all of you. Again, can we do this in person? I'm blubbering over here. I would need to do this in person so I can literally just hug all of you. Um, how do we separate who we are from what
Mhm.
we produce,
Mhm.
especially as women, but also as creatives that are conditioned to equate worth with output?
Yes. Yes. Because the more I do, the more you'll love me, the more you'll book, the more I've got, instead of saying, I've just got this one thing and it's really special. And I
Yeah.
want to give it, I want to do all of the things. It's it's hard out here in these streets, y'all. It really is. And then you see all of these other factors coming in. Oh, so and so just started their business after they did their wedding, or so and so doesn't have to worry about paying the bills because they've got a spouse that's going to do this, or what they go to all of these people, they have all of these ends. And then again, you start paying attention to somebody else's journey instead of your own. And so we're like, oh, well, I got to add more. I got to do this. I have to be out there more. And I think of the time that my daughter, when she was younger, she found my vitamin C serum and she spilled it. She pours water in it because it's clear, thinking that I won't notice and that it'll still be more. And I'm like, baby, you didn't make more vitamin C serum. All you did was water down what was in there. The more we add,
Mm,
getting better, we're just watering down what it is that we're offering. And
yeah.
then it becomes, a pitch between who does what and who's got this. When you stand on who you are and what you want, you will always attract the right people. I used to say, I hate mason jars. I hate baby's breath. I hate burlap. I hate galvanized tins. Why am I? Of course, I'm in the South. I'm going to see a lot of that. But I'm like, why am I getting all of these leads with this? I'm like, oh, because that's what I'm putting out there. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying I'm doing. So that goes for us too. Put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there, and you will attract exactly the type of people that want to work with you, both on the vendor side and the client side.
Yeah, yeah. And something I find so fascinating is that, a lot of people, the excuses that just kind of seem to pour out, right? And one thing that I hear all the time is I'm just bad with money. Like it's like something you're born with, right? It's a condition I was born with, and I'm just bad with money for the rest of my life. And we hear stories about all the time about people who are literally living from booking to booking, and then the money is just gone overnight, and then they got to
Oh,
go and book something else, right?
mhm, mhm.
um and let's be real, okay, we're told, as you mentioned earlier, we are told to be humble and to be grateful, right?
Mhm.
And for some people that's code for don't ask for more,
Yep.
and that
You will get
narrative has
that.
kept people small,
Mhm,
and you price out of fear. You don't want to rock the boat, right?
mhm.
And it's not based off of confidence or your real worth because it just wasn't there to begin with.
Correct.
So how do we get out of that cycle of saying that blanket statement of I'm just bad with money and move into a mindset of actually having money?
Ooh, I love that. Well, you know what? I think about what my turning point was, and it was just like what you said as well. My turning point was when I realized I was booked and broke. Like the calendar was full, the work was nonstop. From the outside, it looked like I was killing it. I was thriving. But behind the scenes, like you said, I'm overworked, underpaid, exhausted, not just physically, but emotionally too, because I don't think that people understand as wedding pros the amount of stress we put ourselves under by carrying not only other people's once in a lifetime events, but their expectations and their needs. Like if you've ever had a dream about a wedding, yeah, come on, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And there is nothing more draining than just pouring your whole self into something and still not seeing the money that matches the effort. And that's when I was like, you know what, this is not sustainable. I did not start a business to resent it. So
Yeah.
I had to unlearn this idea that busy meant successful. I started paying attention to profit and boundaries and how I priced. And then the more and more than that, I started to figure out why I was afraid to charge more money. Like, did I think that I didn't deserve it? Did I think
Mhm.
that I wasn't going to do well with it? I was going to waste it. And that's when things started to shift. I stopped chasing validation and I started chasing alignment. So I let go of just like being this planner, even like now, this speaker that's in demand. And I wanted to really start building something that would demand respect. So think about your relationship with money. Like, what have you been told that you're not good with it, that you'll never have it, or you have to work really hard to get it, or you can only get it this certain way? And dispel all of that. And then we move on to the next step. What does that mean? Does that mean pricing adequately? Does it mean taking things out and keeping the price the same? Does that mean bringing in more staff members so that we can have multiple events happening and we can bring in more? But there is so many answers to why we don't do something as to why we should do something for sure.
Yeah, and here's the thing I want everyone to remember is that undercharging is not humble, it's unsustainable. And
For
you can
everybody.
be for everybody. And
Mhm.
you can be kind, you can be generous and charge full price. Those things are not opposites. And
Exactly.
when you undercharge, you overbook and stretch yourself thin. And as you
Mhm.
said, that's when that resentment, you're resenting your clients, you're resenting your work, you're resenting yourself, you're resenting your friends and your family, right? And so that's the cost, actual cost of imposter
Mhm.
syndrome and all of this. And honestly, I mean, a little bit more of tough love for a second, your rates aren't random, they're a reflection of what you believe you deserve. And
Absolutely.
client expectations can be high, right? But customers want a seamless professional experience, not just a creative one. And that's part of the value you bring with your systems and your process and your ability to solve problems before they even knew that there was one. That's what makes you the pro worth hiring.
Can I tell a quick story, Katie? I love
Please.
about this in my negotiation talks. So there was this man who built this phenomenal house. Everything is just gorgeous, state of the art appliances, fixtures, smart home, has everything that he could ever want. But when he goes to the front door, he notices that there is a creak in the wood panel in the foyer. And he's like trying to fix it. He's done everything he can, but he's getting increasingly frustrated because he's like, this is as soon as you walk into my house. I don't want this to create this poor experience before you can see all the great things that I have in my house. I have to get this fixed. So he calls in a carpenter, and the carpenter walks across the floor a couple times to hear the squeak, to hear where it's coming from. He was like, I got it. I'll fix it. Goes out to his truck, comes back with a nail, walks across the floor again, finds the perfect spot, puts in the nail, hammers it in, hands the man an invoice for $500. And the man is shocked. He's like, "Are you kidding me? Like, I could get that nail for $1 at, one of the home improvement stores." And the carpenter says, "Yes, absolutely. I charged you $1 for the nail, and I charged you $499 for knowing where to hammer." We always know where to hammer. We need to charge for knowing where to hammer. So that
Mm.
client experience, all of the tools that you use, the systems that you use, the voicemail greetings that you have, everything you have is part of the experience. It's part of knowing where to hammer. And there is a price for that. There is a price for the emotional labor. There is a price for the skill. There is a price for the investment and the creativity that you have, not just the deliverables that you provide.
Yeah, and a lot of this, I love that story, and I can see that story, the moral. It's
Oh,
amazing.
thank you.
Um, You know, a lot of this just stems from confidence. And
Mhm,
people had the confidence to have the idea to be a business owner. You had the
mhm.
confidence to start the business and launch the business out into the world. But then when it comes time to hit that gas pedal, the confidence stops and it all just seems to go onto autopilot and people hope for the best. And we've seen it. Some people just get lucky. You have the right friends, you live in the right spot. Sometimes it works out. But for the rest of us, how do you move from self doubt to self trust in an industry that is constantly asking you to prove and reinvent yourself?
Oh, girl, no. Well, first of all, we know that all of this is because money is emotional for us, right? And think about when we were kids and we had our artwork. We could not wait to show everybody our artwork. We didn't care if you didn't think it was good. We colored outside of the lines. We were just so happy to express ourselves. So that's how we are when we first start our businesses. We're like, I know how to do this great thing. I can do it amazingly. But then we start getting nervous because clients get nervous. Like right now, they're nervous about the economy or the
Yeah.
wedding, their relationship, all of these different things. And so money feels like it's the one thing that they can control. And so that's why they give us pushback. And then now the creativity that we have, the excitement that we have is no longer, there anymore. It's about, oh, they don't think that I'm worth this. And so, like you
Hmm.
said, lowering prices, throwing in extras, or doing whatever. But the truth is that if your business only works when people feel secure, it's not strong enough. And you need a strategy that's going to hold for that. And so at this point where you're like, well, do you start proving yourself? Absolutely. You stop proving and you start remembering. I don't chase and I do not convince. I don't even chase my liquor and I damn sure don't do cardio. So if you see me running as much as I am in the gym, you better start running too because something is chasing me. And that is the energy that I bring into business, whether it's sales or
Yeah.
visibility or pricing. I am not here to talk you into anything. If my brand is really doing what it should, I should not have to say a word. So, how I built that self trust when it was low is at first I add up every dollar my business has ever made, every booked client, every referral that has led to a contract, every dollar someone else made because of the work that I do or because of an event that I brought here. And that number is not small. And I look at that number, and that's not ego, that's evidence. That is evidence right there that I'm damn good at what I do, and I should be paid accordingly for it. I also have an old candle jar that I keep on my desk, and I write down my wins, like big ones, little ones, the ones
Mm.
that no one clapped for, but they still matter to me. So when I feel like I'm off track or I'm unsure, like I've forgotten who I am, I open up that jar and I read something from out of that jar. And it's like a little time capsule of proof that I've done hard things before and I've come out shining. Because self trust doesn't necessarily mean that the doubt disappears. It just means that you've got enough receipts to move on anyway. So I make sure I keep my receipts right in front of my face all of the time.
I love that so much. I have a board in my office that is just full of, I mean, I started my planning business in 2011 and then, now have worked with various brands and I'm a speaker. So there's just I've
Your
evolved so
journey. Yeah.
many, I've gone through so many rebirths, but there's just these love letters and moments, right, where you did something that was big to you or
Hmm.
big to someone else.
Hmm.
And having those visible, having those reminders is so critical. And
Critical.
so I think that that is like the number one thing I want everyone here. Go dig out the letters, go read your Google reviews, go, print them out, put them out,
Mhm.
have them visible to your face, because in those moments where you feel the lowest of lows, you're going to be able to turn around and you're going to be able to see that someone took time to write something very honest and true about you and what you provided. And there's not a single person that can take those feelings away. Like, you earned those feelings. You earned that letter. You earned that card. You earned that review, and it will refuel you. So I really genuinely hope that was, I loved the jar idea. I think I'm going to need to do that and just like have it be a little bit even closer to me. It's very Enneagram 2 thing of me to say, but I definitely,
Hold on, Katie.
I
I
love.
do want to say this too. You know what? And also, to give, you must get. So if it ever touches your
Mm.
spirit to reach out to someone and tell them what a great job that they're doing, you have no idea how much that's going to touch them or how it needs them. And if it fell on you to go to a certain person, it's probably because that person needs it right then and there. I cannot tell you how many voice memos, video messages, text messages I have from Courtney, DJ Dash, just telling me, you're amazing. I just want you to know if you haven't heard it today, you're doing great, or you did really great here, or whatever. And I go back to those so many times because I need to be reminded. Of course, your self-doubt, we're always our worst critic too. They're always going to amplify the things that you've gotten wrong, and they push down some of the things that we've done right, some of the things that people don't even know about. So keep these people close to you, keep your testimonials, keep your messages close to you, but also make sure that you're giving them as well, because people need you too.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I don't know how it happened, but somehow our time is almost over. It went so fast. I'm gonna need to rewind time and have at least another hour with you. But I do want to talk about, I do want to be sure that we talk about something else
Yeah.
that's also really important, and that is staying visible.
Mm,
And I know that's scary. It's scary, and imposter syndrome will 100% keep you from showing up in ways that you know that you need to be, but people can't work with you if they don't see you and they can't
mhm.
find you. So I know it's hard to believe, but I know you don't always feel camera ready or content worthy. So, how do you stay visible when you're in a season of personal doubt or burnout, or there's personal things going on at home, or we just don't feel like it? All the
Yeah, you know
things.
what? No, I don't always feel camera ready, and I don't always feel like it at all. It's like, God, I need the Crayola people to come in here and do my makeup and, everything. Use your photo, right? Use a photo, or start creating B-roll of you doing certain things. So like, we don't necessarily have to get on camera, but then overlay it with your voice. So that way we still feel this personal connection to
Mm.
you. We still feel like you're there and that we're a part of you as well. That's going to be the most important thing. Don't dip out, don't shrink back. Instead, stay present. Stay present with all of us. So whether it is, your voice overlaid over a picture, whether it is, old video of you doing something, working at your desk or setting up for an event or whatever, or on those good days, you know what, this is where you're going to pay it forward to the bad days. Just batch create some things so that you always have a reservoir to go to, because yes, it's very important to take care of yourself and to give yourself permission to say, I don't feel like it today. I just don't have it in me today. You still have a responsibility to tomorrow you. And tomorrow you needs you to show up. So make sure that you have enough in your arsenal to do that.
I love that. And I mean, let's be real. How much content do we shoot on event days? Like, I know your camera is full of
Of
things, and it
things.
doesn't matter if it was years ago or if it was yesterday. Like,
Correct.
all of that
Correct.
is relevant. So
Correct.
use it, finally use it. So one of my favorite quotes is, "You're not broke, you're pre-rich." And
Love it.
put that on a bumper sticker. I feel like every time we do a webinar, there is a bumper sticker moment. This is it. You're not broke, you're pre-rich. And this feels like the perfect time to talk systems, because you are the systems queen. And
Oh
I
my
want
God.
to sit in this section for a second, because systems are hands down one of the most overlooked but powerful areas that directly affect imposter syndrome, but also worth and value and confidence and just your income in general. So I'd
Mhm.
love to hear, what are your non negotiable systems that you think every wedding or creative business needs in place to thrive? And everybody get ready to take some notes.
Girl, listen, the right systems will save you from burnout, broken boundaries, straight up
Yeah.
bad clients, prison time, all of the things. Because when we get busy, emotional, or unpredictable, and
Yeah.
we will at some point, systems are there to carry your business when your capacity can't. So here are my non negotiables. You need a clear inquiry and booking workflow that is going to work within your system. So that way, when you're tired, if anything happens, I've given birth throughout some of my busy seasons. I've lost a parent through some of my busy seasons. I've been hospitalized through some of my busy seasons, but my business keeps going. So from the second someone finds you to the moment they sign, that process should be automatic. It should be confident, and it should be aligned with your brand voice. First impressions are your leverage. That's what's going to set you apart. So you don't want to lose them in the inbox. I have so many people who are like, oh God, never use an automation. It doesn't sound like me. I could never use Chat GPT. Girl, put that to bed. You talking to Chat GPT right now. This is a hologram of me. This isn't even me. Maximize your systems because you have to get them from the very beginning. The second one comes immediately after that, and that's going to be your onboarding sequence that's going to set the expectations. This is where you are going to teach people how to work with you, communication windows, timelines, deliverables, decision deadlines. All of it is going to be outlined and reinforced. So whether that's going to be an automatic delivery of your welcome guide, if it's going to rest within a planning portal that you'll have, it's really going to help you establish things from the very beginning, because if people don't know the rules, they will make up their own and you will pay the price for that. The third system I think that everybody needs is a simple way to track your leads, your payments, and your progress. It does not have to be fancy, but you need some sort of reporting. You need some sort of data. I tell people all the time, I would do some very sketchy and promiscuous things for data, because that is where your money answers are. If you don't know what's coming in or going out, you're just guessing, and business is not built on guesses at all. So systems aren't cold. They're not corporate. They are what's going to actually give you room to enjoy the business that you've built. So as long as you're hitting those first three, you're going to be like Kris Jenner says, you're doing amazing, sweetie.
I have a little tear in my eye. Like I want to get like a billboard in Times Square and just let that play all day long for everybody who will have no choice but to listen. Yeah, because systems also equal organization,
Mhm.
because there's an emotional impact of being organized, and
Absolutely.
structure feels like safety, not stress. And I mean, I live by that statement. Like without
So
that, that's
it's so true. And again, that is the transformation that we're charging for. You know what I mean? That's knowing where to hammer. That organization is knowing where to hammer. So I'm not putting 1,000 holes in your floor. I'm organized and I'm skilled and I know exactly where to go and to hit it at the first time. So people are paying for that too. If you think about, go through your biggest package and look at all of the bullet points that you have and think about the transformation that's on the other side of that. Think about the emotional labor on the side of that. And if that does not make you realize that you probably should be doubling your prices and how great you are at what you do, specifically if you can do it within a certain time frame, I don't know what else to tell you, baby. I'm just gonna have to get you a lobotomy or something,
oh
because it's
yeah. Or how
absolutely worth
much
it.
people are not charging for. Like how we just got to stop. There's so much being left on the table that, clients should be paying for. And sometimes clients know they should be paying for, but they're getting away with not
Ooh.
paying for.
Girl, let me tell you the story of the $5,000 attitude. So I had a coaching client and we worked on her pricing. We worked very hard on her pricing. But again, a lot of that has to come with mindset. I had to get her to understand why she was absolutely worth this. And could we command this in her market? So there had to be a little bit of wiggle room, because just because I tell you that you're worth $10,000 doesn't mean that the market is going to pay for that. So we really had to figure out what the market would bear, how she was going to get the maximum profit out of it. And I'm going to keep saying that word over and over again, because profit is not a dirty word. You are absolutely allowed to make money. If nobody else has told you that, I am telling you that today. You are allowed to make money. You are allowed to keep your money. Okay. So, but back to this story. So we worked on her mindset. We recalibrated pricing for herself, for profit, and the market. We worked on her proposals. We worked on her sales calls. She was ready. She gets a lead in, Katie, and they are going for this new collection that we've just created. And she's so nervous. And I said, you're going to be fine. I said, I wish I could sit on it with you, but I feel like that's only going to make you even more nervous. You got this.
Okay.
Just call me as soon as you're done. She calls me and she's like, oh my God, they booked. And I am freaking out. I'm like, yes, you did it. She was like, don't get so excited. And I said, oh God, what happened? And she said, I booked them at the old rate, which was half of what the new rate was.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, but I felt like they really would have went with it. And I'm like, yeah, they would have. She's like, I know, because they told me that they were expecting to pay twice what I charged them.
Mm,
Mm.
mhm, mhm.
So that's the story of the
Yep.
$5 attitude. Yeah. You can
Oof.
always go down. If somebody gives pushback on your pricing, you ask them for their financial comfort zone and you ask them what they would like to remove from the collection so that you can meet it. But we are not out here in these streets giving them everything that they want for the price that they want to pay. That's not how it works.
I know, and I had to give a moment of silence to the awkward feeling of like that feeling that will never leave that person again because
Girl, and I'm so grateful because this is another one of those instances where like I have permission to tell the story. I just don't say who it is. But to know that you deserve more, your coach knows that you deserve more, and the client literally told you that they were willing to pay twice what you charge them. That's a feeling. That's that's gonna make sure that you don't do that again for sure.
yeah, that's no, 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 that's not.
For sure. For
That is
sure.
written on the wall on
It
with the
is.
testimonials and the reviews and the good vibes. There is also a big do not ever
Right,
on
right.
there too. Um, this feels like the perfect segue into our next section. And I actually just saw a comment about I need to work with you on my pricing. Well, in fact, before we move into some amusing Q&A, don't you love when it just lines up like that? Like the whole thing is just vibing and rolling. I want to make sure that we touch on your education because truly it is some of the best. And I know your fan
Thank
club
you.
in the comments here
Oh,
can attest to
I
that.
love I love
Um,
them.
and you help so many people. So please take a moment, let everyone know how they can work with you, learn from you, and keep growing in this space with you.
So, if this conversation has you rethinking your pricing, your systems, or even just your self worth, then you're going to love what's inside of Wedding Pro University. It's my monthly membership for wedding professionals who want structure and strategy and support without the overwhelm. Every month, I drop new tools, new templates, a new live workshop, and live coaching to help you build the business that actually pays you back. And yes, we get into the money mindset for real. Inside, we have things like the pricing calculator suite, the influence and investment calculator. So, yes, you absolutely should be charging for all of those 5-star reviews, those great reviews you're doing, the shoots that you do, the networking events that you go to, the conferences that you go to. There's a calculator that shows you how to take that amount and how much that should increase your pricing. But it also helps you figure out, what your experience is, how you're going to get in front of more people, what you're marketing. And we've got just like for this talk here, we've got imposter syndrome, journal prompts, affirmation,
Mm.
and whole trainings on how to sell with confidence and not apology. So if you are ready to stop guessing your pricing and to start charging like the expert you already are, then Wedding Pro University is absolutely your next move. It's anything that I've ever created, all of my educational tools plus classes from some of the best in the industry as well. It's literally like courses meets coaching. Like I said, we drop new stuff every first Thursday. We have a live workshop every second Wednesday. We have system demos every second Friday and live Q&A and feedback reviews. So people will send me their proposal and they'll say they rejected it. What did I do wrong? And I'll go through a video outlining everything that I think could be changes, or I got this bad review. How should I respond? And it's all in there. So I love it.
Amazing. It's hitting the lottery. I mean, that's literally
Of
hitting the lottery. Yeah. Okay. I love this. We have some really intense Q&A questions. Like I
course you
know
do. Of course you do.
our questions were like, really good, but these ones I was like, whoa, okay. Like you ready? I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for some of these.
Oh, all right. Remember, you
Get
did
your
this to yourself.
tissues. I did
Oh,
this to myself.
you did this to yourself.
I wanted this. I know. I
You
know.
you asked for this.
I
Yes.
did. I did. Um, okay. I'm holding on to my chair even for
Oh,
for
God.
structure. I haven't raised my prices in over 3 years, and I'm taking on over 30 projects a year. I'm tired, but I'm
Mm,
scared I'll lose clients. How do I get over this?
mm. Oh my gosh. Okay. Are you losing are you losing clients or are you losing a paycheck? Let's look at it that
Mm,
way. because your clients are going to pay your amount. Are you thinking about I'm losing this steady income, or am I really losing clients that want to work with me and that value me? Because those people, just like in the $5,000 attitude story, these people are willing to pay. So what if you changed your rates and that 30 turned into 15 for the same amount of work, but you're not burned out? That's the
Yeah.
thing. You I love the saying that, you know what, if anything happens, and I just learned this most recently, if anything happens, they can find another wedding planner, photographer, DJ, butcher, baker, candlestick maker. Your family can't find another you. You can't find another you. So my joke is, how much does it cost for me to put my wig on and walk out the door, right? Because it costs a lot to get these lashes done, these nails done, to get these hair extensions on or whatever. I can't undercharge because I am not paying to be at anybody else's event. Do you hear me? Absolutely not. No, she's not a nonprofit. This is not
Yep.
her hobby at all. This is how she feeds her family. This is how she takes care of everybody. So when you
Yeah.
think about the additional wear and tear you are putting on your body and on your spirit just to get 30 or just to get booked, it's not the same. So you don't have to make a decision right now. You don't have to make a move right now. But think about, if I changed my pricing, if I changed my delivery, either I cut time and keep pricing the same, if I raised my rates, if I went for a different echelon of clients, how would that change my life? What would I be able to do? Would I be able to have my weekends off? Would I be able to spend more time in the evenings with girlfriends, with kids, with partners or parents? Think about what that would buy you that you can't get in a
Yeah.
store. Then you make the decision on, yep, I want that enough and I'm going to do it. It's just like when we want to get our summer bodies ready. We're like, you know what? I'm tired of feeling however I feel. I want to look like a certain way. We have to do the work in the gym and in the kitchen in order to get that end result. The same thing goes here. Stop punking yourself out. Stop talking yourself out of it. You are absolutely worth it. It's clear because people are booking you when they're willing to pay the price that you are asking them to pay.
Hmm.
The price that you're asking them to pay is not necessarily what you deserve or what's going to keep you profitable. So do the work. Don't talk yourself out of it. Do the work to get there as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Oof. I told you. These ones are,
Yeah, good
they're
one.
heavy. Okay. As a woman of color, I sometimes feel invisible or underestimated. How do you
Mhm.
navigate being seen and respected in spaces that aren't always welcoming? I know my instinct is that's not your room. Like, you need to go find people that are genuinely there for you and to celebrate you and all of that. And then on the side, I'm also like, you own that room. You deserve to be in that room. You go in there with your head held high and say, I am absolutely welcome to be here just as much as anyone else is. And I don't even need to tell you why. You should just know, right? Like, there's such a pull to want to say, you're right. I don't belong here. Like, you're right. Yeah, this isn't the room for me. And then there is like, no, no, we're not doing that anymore. We just
Mhm.
listened for a whole hour and we know better now. And we're going to go in there and say, this is amazing. I am here. Like, let's party, people.
As a Black woman, there are so many rooms that aren't made for me. If I stuck to only rooms that were made for me, I would be in my room, basically, pretty much.
Yes. Yes.
Every damn room is made for me. Every room is made for me. How you deal with it, you like it, don't like it, don't have nothing to do with me. Go to therapy and get well soon. Because wherever I'm coming as me, and you either feel it and you like it or you don't. But that is not my responsibility. My responsibility is to show up as me for the people who need me to. So that way, the next time, it won't be a question on whether or not this room is built for us or if we can navigate the room. It's, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you made it. We've been expecting you, type of thing. So that's my responsibility. My responsibility is to my family. My responsibility is to myself and all the hours of dedication. Again, when you make that list on all the reasons why I need to be in there, you must say, the fact that who's going to stop me? Who's going to tell me that I can't? And I think that when I started owning myself and my personality and who I was, that's when everything took off for me. And even still, I get these moments of, wait, am I doing this right? Am I navigating this? Like, One of the clearest moments that I can think of was maybe like 2 years ago. I was speaking at an engagement, and somebody was like, we have the Beyonce of the wedding industry coming. And I'm like, oh, that's dope. I need to get me a ticket. Then I realized they were talking about me. And before I could even feel proud or honored, imposter syndrome jumped me like I was in an alley somewhere. I went
Yeah.
straight to, oh shit, now I got to deliver, or they can't think I'm that good, or this isn't even like my market. This is crazy. Because you know what, Katie? You know what? I am that good. I have
Hmm.
watched my rooms fill. I have seen my events filled out. I have witnessed people shift their businesses in real times because of something that I have taught. So that was breathing proof of what I do. So why am I doubting me? I should be doubting you. What have you done that compares to what I do? How can you do what I do? So I just want to say, every room is made for you. Every table is made for you. You know what? You bring your own chair, you take them legs out, and now we sit in kabuki style. You do whatever you do, but what you won't do is shrink and keep yourself out, because imposter syndrome has nothing to do with your ability. It has everything to do with your comfort. It is your fear asking you to shrink. It is your doubt telling you that you're not good enough, right when you are called to expand. So if you get that feeling that I don't belong in that room, then the siren should be going off saying I absolutely belong in there. Not only am I going to show up, but I'm going to show off.
My cheeks hurt so bad. I cannot stop smiling. I'm like literally grinning, like, yes. And I literally see in the comments, people are like, I'm literally screaming yes to this. Yes, yes, yes,
Oh.
yes. The replay is coming, and you can just listen to this on loop every morning, every morning. In fact, just record it on your cell phone and like just listen to the voicemail every single morning. Like, this is literally like, this is it, right? Girl, I don't know if I can keep going. You're bringing literal tears to my eyes.
Oh, sorry.
I first of all, I mean, there are many reasons why I'm proud to be your friend, but it's moments like this where you just bring such truth and vulnerability and relatability to the space. And these are why conversations with people that can just absolutely stand up and say the thing that needs to be said because it is authentically from you, um, are valued and are cherished, and we need to put you in a bubble and protect you forever. So
And
I
here
will
I
find a
was
bubble.
thinking it was our Jungle Cruise party time together that made you love me so much.
That's for a different webinar, Terrica. We
Oh,
can't
yes,
talk
yes,
about
yes.
our
My
jungle
bad.
party cruise.
Apologies, apologies, apologies.
Okay, let's read one more because I know we're a little over time, but let's read one more. And this one is equally in the feels. I'm the first person in my family to have a business, let alone have money. They refer to my business as a small hobby, make me feel bad when I can't attend family events due to events, but have no problem asking me for money. I have no idea how to navigate this, but it's getting worse.
I am so sorry. It it
Yeah.
takes a lot, and it takes a strong person to be chosen and to go through and combat generational trauma, currency, thoughts, and just all of the things that tell us that we're wrong for doing something that the family doesn't want us to. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, gave it away. What I need you
Yeah.
to never, ever forget is that you are rewiring your system and you are building a legacy. You do not have to say yes to everything that you are asked to do or that you're asked to give. Because you know what? Rich people don't stay rich because they waste their money or because they spend it in all of these different places, right? Give to those that support you, give when it's needed, give from your heart, absolutely, right? But don't listen to these dream stealers and tire kickers, baby. We're not doing that, because you know what? If you want something that nobody else has, you have to be willing to do something that no one else is doing, and that's you. And sometimes that means, Katie, you and I know this both, we're up on a stage and our kids are also on stage getting awards or whatever, or we're missing something.
Yeah.
It's like, no, girl, I can't go to this event. I got to fly home really quick so I can be here for that. There are going to be all types of sacrifices, but there's also going to be someone in your family that says, I did it because I saw you, or I did it because I knew that you would support me. I did it because I knew that you would understand. So now you are rebuilding the family. You are rebuilding a legacy. Don't listen to these people who got so much to say. And you know what? Like my mother always says, the emptiest can makes the loudest noise. It is always people with nothing that's got an opinion about what you want to do. And if I would not come to you for advice, I am sure not going to listen to your criticism. So please look in the mirror and know who you are, what you've created, and how absolutely amazing that is. And if your immediate family that shares your DNA does not get it, you have several people within this industry that absolutely do and will always cheer you on.
See, these are the voice memos that Terrica gives to me. I mean, not that about family, but just like about our kids and like all the things. And I'm like, I'm a terrible mother and just all the things. These are literally the voice memos. Please make sure you have someone in your life that is sending you these voice memos because these are the things. These are the things that bring you back down to earth, that kind of just like shake you up a
Mhm.
little and like wake you up and say like, okay, I'm back. Like I was gone for a second, but now I get it. Like these are the things, these are the moments. And I think that's another service that you need to start providing. I think you need to do like a
Okay, yes,
monthly
thank
a
you.
monthly service where you can just send voice memos to people like
Me and
a
Samuel
cameo.
L. Jackson. Yes, I think that would be amazing. I think we would be phenomenal together. Yes.
We're going to make this happen. We're making this happen. Oh, my friend. Okay, there's some questions we didn't get to. Maybe we can go ahead. I can send them to you and maybe we share them on stories or,
Yeah, I
we
would
can,
love
let's do
to.
that.
Would love to. Yes.
Great.
Send them to me
So
and I will answer them on stories for sure.
perfect. So we'll do that. And Terrica, thank you so much, obviously, for being with us today and for
Yeah.
lending your expertise, your experience, and always keeping it real with us. To everyone who joined and is listening to this, thank you for showing up for the hard conversations and for being open to growth. We can all commit to doing better together, and you deserve to feel confident, protected, and respected in the work that you do. As a reminder, this is a monthly webinar hosted by us, Rock Paper Coin. So be sure to look out for the incredible second Money Talk session. Yes, we have two. That's right, a bonus webinar coming up next Wednesday on June 25th. So whether you're just starting out or you have years of experience dealing with a client dispute and having funds removed from your bank account, is confusing, overwhelming, scary, and oftentimes flat out unfair. We are teaming up with our friends at Stripe for a no fluff webinar designed to empower you to handle disputes with confidence. We're going to understand why they happen, to knowing exactly what to do when one hits your inbox. We are going to break it all down. So be sure to register for that. Even if you can't make it live, we'll send you the replay and we can't wait to see you there. Terrica, my friend, thank you again for your time
Thank
today. It
you.
is always a pleasure to be able to spend time with you. And
Same.
thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Everyone, yeah, thanks for joining, listening. Have a great day, and we will see you all soon.
Bye, guys.